What is your American dream?
That my daughters can grow up and do anything they want to do. That's my American dream.
My American dream is an America that's unified and diverse and, you know, filled with understanding and compassion and love.
My American dream is I hope that we can all just live equally and freely without prejudice, without ignorance.
I want to create a business. I want to focus and build my charity, start in America, build a charity.
My American dream is that we can live in a country where we don't necessarily agree on absolutely everything, but we can respect each other and we can work towards making the country better together, because that's what it's all about.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Groundhog Sam! Brad's not the only one around here who can play the wheel game, so can Groundhog Sam. Oh, hello everybody! I hope you're having a great Wednesday! Happy Hump Day! Well, in case you missed yesterday's episode of Brad Show Live, Brad played the wheel game with all the fans, all you viewers out there. Brad also spoke to Yvette Modestin, who has been named one of the top 100 most influential African diaspora leaders, and how she brings African American and Latino communities together. Now, back to this wheel. I've decided I can play the game just as well. So here are the rules for Groundhog Sam's wheel game. Red, you get a kiss from Groundhog Sam. White, you get a kiss from me. Yellow, you get a kiss from me. Blue, you get a kiss from me. Purple, kiss from me. Here we go. Who's gonna be the lucky winner? So dizzy. I guess I'll leave the wheel game to Brad. Oh well. What's on today's show? Well, you'll have to watch to find out. Enjoy.
All right, Groundhog Sam getting a little messy there. That was very, very funny. Welcome, Groundhog Sam. Welcome, everybody. Today is Wednesday. It is Hump Day, as we like to say here on Brad Show Live. We always get a little. We're going to try to stay clean, but on Hump Day, who knows what will eventually happen. Welcome, Belgium Kim. Welcome, Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias. How are you? How you doing? Great. So I'm supposed to twerk.
Yes.
Right, and I didn't get an opportunity to twerk today because I was busy saving the world and clients and everything.
Right.
So I actually felt bad because you guys came to me like 3 times and you said, Brad, twerk. And I'm like, I got to see clients. I had to return telephone calls. I am a lawyer.
I think that's okay.
in another life till about 5:15.
Right.
Yeah.
And then around 5:15, I go to Starbucks.
Yes.
And at Starbucks, I get a coffee, and then I turn into the host of Brad Show Live.
Not a pumpkin, but a host.
What?
Not a pumpkin, but a host.
No, not a pumpkin, but a host. So tomorrow, I promise you, I will twerk. We honestly didn't have the chance to do it today. We were just totally swamped here with law stuff. Sorry I didn't get a chance to go have fun. You know, I had to be a lawyer today, but we will be twerking tomorrow. But what I said, you know, Belgium Kim was telling me, she goes, I wish you would have taken the dare to wear the toupee instead.
God. It would have been so funny,
She
Brad.
goes, Belgium Kim goes, wearing the toupee during a host chat and schmoozing with Brad would have been so much funnier than seeing you twerk.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Watching you twerk in a toupee would be the height of my life, but
Yeah, well,
I'm
that's not gonna
I'm not
happen.
trying to.
That's not
I'm
gonna
not going
happen.
too far. So I said, I really wish I saw you in a wig. I want a wig. I do. I want a wigged Brad.
Did you ever make a fool of yourself, Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias?
Not on the show yet.
Not on this show yet? They seem to want me to make a fool of myself every day here. Twerk. Wear wigs.
Listen, they won that fair and square.
They did wear that fair and square. All right, so I will make a fool of myself by twerking tomorrow. I will find time to do it tomorrow.
Okay.
And I don't know about a toupee. I've never worn a toupee.
I think we should do a share competition then.
Yeah. Make the people earn it then, Brad.
Y'all want to see Brad in a toupee, though, don't y'all?
What do you
Yes, y'all do.
No, they don't.
Yes,
That's
y'all
No,
do.
you don't.
How you feeling?
You do not want to see me in a toupee. Let me say hello. Let me say hello to Jeff Bosey and Tamika Nelson, Patrona Collins, Christy Consali, Asset Linda says hello. Mishka Bose says hello. Lisa Bling Rose joining us here on Bradshaw Live. Tanette Soboles Robinson, Christy Consali, Tamika Nelson, Dionne Watson, Wendy Brown, Malia Lobin Martin. Don't we say hello to the same people every day?
Yeah.
Because it's the same people who watch every day. It's
Exactly.
our
Not
dedicated.
who watch, but who comment.
It's our dedicated Brad squad, right? Marge Higgs, Glamour, hello, and Carol Anderson, the Tiger.
Yes.
Pop it in. Asset Lindo. Did we speak to Asset Lindo about her movie tickets?
We have sent messages to Cece Mitchell and Asset.
And they have not responded.
I'm waiting to hear back about what your favorite movie theater is in your hometown.
Apparently, they don't like the movies.
Yeah. Who doesn't
Okay.
like movie tickets?
Nadisha Gooden, hello. By the way, congratulations to Asset and Cece, who won the movie tickets yesterday.
Yep.
Jonathan Elias popping in there. Belgium Kim popping in there.
Yeah, she is.
Barbara Lord. Ver Fullerton saying hello. And we can go on and on and on and on and on. Jella Shauna, I see, popped in there saying hello. Sunshine Love. Is she new?
Oh, Sunshine Love pops in and out. Sunshine Love is not very consistent, but she's here and she's active when she
What about Sid Abbas Bellum?
Sid Abbas Bellum is new, I think.
He is new. Would everybody please welcome, as a new member of the Brad Squad, he's a male.
Oh!
All right?
Let's get more of those.
We need more men in the Brad Squad.
Real excited
All right,
there.
please welcome Sid to the Brad Squad. I think that's his first comment ever on Bradshaw Live.
Awesome.
And of course, we got to get into our schmoozing, and do remind everybody to share what's going to be our competition today.
Toupee.
No, come on, seriously.
I'm very serious.
I co-sign. Sorry. Is it a
Put
two?
the share high. Put the share high.
Yeah, make it like what you would think would be an unattainable
Like
goal.
that I would never wear the
Like
toupee.
there's no way
don't
Brad
do
Squad
that.
could ever get to this number.
What did they
made
make? What did
500.
they make?
500.
They made
They
500
made 500.
for spinning the wheel.
Yes.
Well, they made 300 for spinning the wheel once,
And
500
then two for spinning
twice.
the wheel
yeah.
twice. And they did it with ease.
It did not seem very difficult.
Didn't seem very difficult.
The 500 wasn't with ease, though.
It was with ease.
I mean, it ended up being $4.98.
You're right.
Right,
you're
and we gave it to them because I think about 32 of those shares were illegal shares that got cut back.
Listen, you
Illegal.
got to read the fine print.
They were illegal
Brad.
shares. All right, so you want me to wear a toupee?
Yes.
Yeah.
During, I'm not going to wear it the whole thing. I can't keep embarrassing myself on a regular basis on the show.
Not for 2 straight
All right,
hours.
not for 2 straight hours, but I'll wear it for a few minutes during
For the
our
schmooze.
during
Right,
our
for the schmooze.
during our hello
Yeah.
or the schmooze. It should be the hellos. Hello,
should be
Brad
the-
Squad, or the schmooze.
The schmooze.
It's not going to be when I'm answering questions because I have to.
No,
be serious.
no,
yeah, the
exactly.
schmooze.
Right. I can't answer questions wearing a toupee. That would be quite silly to be like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
The
Right?
schmooze.
And we'll make sure that it'll be just like a
All right. So
really
during the
obvious
schmooze,
toupee.
during the schmooze, I've never worn a toupee before.
That is gonna be.
I have no idea what the toupee. You're gonna get me like a low, like a very low.
Like a bowl cut situation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Brad.
But you gotta,
wait,
but
do
you
I
gotta
have
get like
free
a,
reign on
but
choosing
you gotta
it?
like find like somebody who knows how to fit this
Right,
on. It can't be
yeah.
just like a silly
Something that you
like
throw-
it doesn't
a
look
rug
like
that
like
you
a look
throw
like a
out.
clown, like a real. Like I'm gonna like we need like a costume person who knows how to.
You want to go deep
yeah,
with this.
Yeah, so like it makes it look like real.
Like a Sylvester
I
Stallone
don't
Rambo
know.
situation.
I don't know, like
how-
real stuff.
Yes.
Like real stuff.
I agree.
All right, so we will find.
Okay.
We'll find a costume person, like a real.
Yeah.
Should I maybe do an afro? I don't know. What we'll do is this. What we will do is this.
Yeah.
Okay, it could be an afro, could be dreads,
What
could just
if-
be blonde hair, red hair. I can go like Mr. T with like the mohawk.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What we'll do is this. Okay,
Okay.
and we will get like a real costume person to come do it, not like some like fake thing from the
Wow.
Halloween.
Oh, you are so
not
leaning
some like
in.
fake thing from the Halloween store, like
No
a
Party
real.
City.
We're not going to Party City for. I mean, we'll get like a
A
real.
for real toupee.
Yeah.
A real, like like there's like when like people go in the movies and they go
Yeah.
and they get like
Like
done up
Masked
yeah.
and
masked
stuff.
and different. We'll
Yeah.
find somebody
Perfect.
to go do that.
Like do your head mold.
Do my
and
head mold, right, the whole
everything.
thing, and we'll get the whole.
Like
This is
like in
perfect.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Like exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It will be Brad Doubtfire. We will doubt everything about him.
Yes.
Everything everything about that we thought about Brad will be done. All right, so if we reach, what's an unattainable goal? 750 shares? Is that completely unattainable?
What if you did 750 and if they
Smiley
get to,
Smith is saying dread.
Yeah.
Jeff Bosey is troll doll hair.
So what if you did 750 and for 1,000, Brad Squad gets to pick the wig?
There's no way they're going to get to 1,000. Come
Let's
on.
do 700.
That's what, I
700
don't think
is
so
good.
either. So I mean, if you're so confident, that's an easy prize to give them.
700 is good.
They could never
All right,
get
so
to
then this
1,000.
is what we'll do. Okay, let's make it like at least they can attain it.
750.
Okay, 700 shares.
Okay.
Yes.
I will bring in a costume designer and design this up.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it'll be troll hair. Maybe it will be dreads. Maybe it will be
David Hasselhoff.
Locks. Jilly Bean would love that.
Jill would
Right?
sweating
I'll go
in the back.
Hasselhoff.
Oh my God.
Right?
And bother.
I don't know. Maybe I'll go Mr. T.
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh,
that would
that's
be good.
true.
What else is
I
like
have a
funny?
crush on
What else
Mr.
would
T.
be like a funny hair thing?
Like a mullet.
A mullet.
Like a
I
really
can-
sexy mullet,
Yes, I can
if
do
you
the
will.
right or the reverse where you just, you know.
Yeah, where you're long in the front and short in the back.
No, Carolina's and
It's
Tigers
gonna
just
be
get a
great.
wig. No, we're not going to get a wig. I mean, we do this right here. Okay, so if we get to 700 shares.
700. You guys can do
700.
Okay,
this.
I
Do
will.
this for
I
us,
will. All right, so
please.
everyone can make fun of me for the entire show, and then if we get to 850 shares, we will allow the Brad Squad to pick the do they want me to be in.
Wow, that's nicer than I was.
700, you guys pick.
Yeah.
Okay.
850, Brad Squad picks.
All right.
All right.
You guys,
There you go.
make this
All right, so let's
Please
see if we
make
can
this
make this happen.
700.
Because I'm going to only make a fool of myself for 700. I'm not making a fool of myself for 300 shares.
Nah.
Listen,
Nah.
they're
Right.
already volunteering. Tamika said, Brad, I'll buy you a lace front right now.
All right. So all right. So this is the deal. Okay, let's get this in the lower third here. Okay. All right. Let's see if they're working back there. All right. 750 shares.
700 shares.
Is that what I
You
said?
said
700.
700.
Okay.
Yeah.
700 shares. And what is it? I will find a.
You'll wear.
I'm gonna
a
wig up.
legit
You're gonna
I'm
wig
going to
yeah.
wig up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
700 shares. I'm wigging up, and this is no party, city wig or Ricky's Halloween shop wig.
Yeah.
This is like real, like Hollywood guy will come or lady will come and do me up.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Okay, and I will wear it on the schmooze.
Yeah.
Okay. For 850 shares, I can't believe we have to bribe people. For 850 shares, Brad Squad gets to pick it.
Yes.
And this is all comes from because Kim thought the better dare was wear the wig
That was
over the
mine.
twerking.
That was mine.
Oh, that was yours? I
Yeah.
thought somebody suggested wear the wig. That was you? Oh, I thought that was somebody suggested.
Was that a dare? Yeah, I think you did suggest
I'm the
that.
one who
I
said
think,
that.
Yes.
That would have been
And Carol
better
Angela
than
Sid the Tiger is like, yes, Brad, wig up. Well, you got to do the sharing. You got to do the sharing.
700. You guys can
700
make it.
shares and Brad will wig up. 850 shares. Let's get that up there now. 850 shares, and Brad will allow Brad's Squad to wig me up.
Listen, guys.
Right?
you
Brad
guys
Squad
can make
gets to
this-
wig me up.
Y'all can make this happen. Seriously, like easily. The only way you guys can make this happen, I'm gonna give y'all a way to make this happen. Hit up anybody you know.
And Tamika's like,
tell
Tamika's like,
them to share this
by the way,
right
Tamika's
now.
like, I'm not even going to share until Brad starts twerking. I promise you. All right,
Share.
the twerking's going to happen tomorrow. I honestly, I got very
Hit
busy
up your
today. I couldn't do it.
sisters, your brothers,
Yeah.
your kids.
Right.
Tell them to log on right now and share because that all will add
Isn't
up.
that a
You guys
song?
can-
Tell your brothers, your sisters, and your mama too.
Yep.
Right? That's a
That-
song, right?
Wow. Wow. But you don't even have to go that close. Your
Right.
kid's kindergarten teacher, your pediatrician
Do
from
it now.
1986 that you just reconnected with.
You gotta do it now, though.
All right, so tell everybody how to
taking it all
share.
out.
And I don't even know. It's not viewers, it's shares. Correct.
Yeah.
It's not viewers, it's shares. Because Brad Squad can't control how many people watch the show.
Yeah.
Right.
But what they can control is how often they share it.
Yes.
Right? All right, so
That's amazing.
Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias,
Yes.
Belgium Kim.
Yes.
Tell them what the deal is. This is our contract. I will have Jonathan and Belgium Kim
I'll
give
share
you
it to
the
your mom.
oral contract. Who is
Barbara
it?
Lord said, "I'll share it to your mom."
If people hadn't just tuned in, they thought they would be
give them
real
the oral
shady.
contract and tell them how to share.
All right, guys.
So this is the
listen.
contract.
This is the contract. 700 shares, and you will get Brad to wear a wig. 850 shares you will be able to pick. And how you share now is look at the bottom right-hand side of the video. There is an arrow going to the right. Click on that. All you have to do is share it to people's pages, share it in Instagram, private message, then copy the link. You could also tell your friends and your family to share through that as well. Just copy the link, send it as a text message, and tell them to watch the show and share it themselves. 700 shares, guys. Look, the bar is set up high. You guys did 500 real easy. You could definitely do 700.
By the way,
need to see
Carol's
him.
already pushing 850.
Yeah.
It's 850, 700.
Yes.
We picked the wig.
850.
850.
You guys picked the wig.
Right.
Listen, Tamika Nelson just shared it to my private Facebook messages.
Hey,
I love it.
Hey, whatever.
Thank you.
That's called cheating, but it
That's
works.
correct.
That's called cheating, but it works.
Listen, we are already at
Right.
122 shares.
We're at 122 shares already.
You guys
it's
got
amazing.
this.
It's amazing what happens when we have to bribe. We had 122 shares yesterday.
The entire show.
The entire show.
You guys can do this. Listen, this is not, it hasn't even been 30 minutes yet.
Can you
Y'all
imagine if we do
this.
the entire show just begging people to share? We do nothing else.
We talk about nothing.
We talk about
No.
nothing other than this.
It's a literal show about
It's a little
nothing.
show about nothing. Well, we just asked them to share.
You guys are almost there.
All right. So, by the way,
Wow.
we will be answering your immigration questions in about 15 minutes or so. If you call 1-800-529-5465. I do have to remind everybody that if you want to know when Bradshaw comes on, please like and follow Bradshaw Live. Also, please follow Bradshaw Live on Instagram at Bradshaw Live. Today, we will be taking your immigration calls first in our social media check-in from our Twitter. I'm getting a little tongue-tied, from our Twitter page at Bradshaw Live. And of course, Jonathan, Elias, and Belgium Kim have their own Instagram accounts. And what are they?
My Instagram account is Travel Queen Kim, and if you want to follow me on Facebook, you can just search Belgium Kim, and I'll be right there.
And my Instagram is Jonathan Elias TV.
All right.
Easy.
So while we do that, let's do a little schmooze while we're waiting for the lines to heat up here on Bradshaw Live at 1-800-529-5465. Do not forget, and I'm going to ask Groundhog Sam to pop in here every so often, Groundhog Sam, and let us know where we are. Groundhog Sam, if you can let us know where we are every 5 minutes.
Nice.
Okay, just pop in every 5 minutes, Groundhog Sam. Let us know where we are. I think Groundhog Sam will get excited to wear a wig. Maybe he'll do it with me. Maybe he'll come to the wig place with me, and he'll try something on too. I don't know.
Just try to stop him, Brad.
I
If you're
don't
going,
know.
he's going too.
Right. Well,
hilarious.
We're about an hour before we came on the air. In all seriousness, we got to get to some serious topic here. About an hour before we got on the air, President Trump signed an executive order allowing the families who were separated at the border to go back and now live together in a jail, in family jail, instead of separate jail. Really goes into what I said I've been saying all week. It's his modus operandi. He creates a crisis, and then he fixes the crisis and takes credit for fixing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
He did it with North Korea, and now he's doing it with the people who are seeking asylum at the border. And what's happening is they're even separating. We're going to hear from an activist who was actually inside the jails later today that I interviewed.
Wow.
We're going to hear from him that they're not only separating. You see on the news that they're saying, well, what we're doing is we're separating the families because they're committing a crime by crossing the border illegally. And here's an activist who's coming on and saying, we know people whose families have been separated. They came to the border. They did not try to cross the border illegally. They did not commit a crime. And they said, my life is in danger. If I go back home, I want to apply for asylum. And they still separated without any criminal activity, following the law, the families from the children. Now, I will tell you, about 20 years ago, I forgot what it was called. There was a Supreme Court decision, and then it was kind of negotiated out between the Clinton administration and the people who were suing Department of Homeland Security, and they said that children should not be in detention for more than 20 days. That was the agreement that was made to avoid any further litigation in terms of jailing children. Now, Trump has totally disregarded that agreement that has been in place for 20 years. We have heard time and time again that putting children in jail, whether with their mother and father or not without their mother and father, is detrimental to their psychological well-being, emotional well-being for the rest of their lives, for something they didn't choose to do, something they didn't do. Okay?
Right.
They were told to come with their parents.
Right.
So I don't think that we should be extolling Trump for fixing a problem by now saying we're going to jail the children with the parents. First of all, how are we going to get these 3,000 kids back with the parents who have been separated? That's a whole other story.
Right.
Okay.
Are they even going to?
We don't know. Number two, there's now the rationale, the only rationale behind putting anybody in jail who comes to the border and applies for political asylum is the government says, well, we want to ensure that they will show up to court. Okay, we don't want somebody to go out, parole them into the United States, they apply for asylum, then they don't come to court, and then they disappear in America. Okay, that is the rationale, and the only legal rationale to holding somebody in a detention facility. Now, there are a lot of cheaper, easier ways to make sure somebody goes to court. Hire lots more judges. Make sure the court dates are very close.
Right.
Okay. You can put an ankle bracelet on people. Now, ankle bracelets, monitor where you are.
Right.
Okay. Is that pleasant? No. Is it more pleasant than jail?
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
Or getting your kids taken away.
And then show after they show up to court once or twice that they're complying with their rules and regulations of showing up to court and going through the asylum process. And then at that point, take the ankle bracelet off if if the government feels that they're compliant.
Right.
So there's plenty of ways to do this other than jail people. And I'm not advocating putting ankle bracelets on because it's a very unpleasant thing. I'm just saying off the top of my head,
still better.
It is 10 times better than sitting in saying, okay, now you can sit in jail with your kids, then not with your kids.
Right.
It's really not making the situation a lot better.
No.
Okay, and it's very costly to the U.S. taxpayer.
Right.
Extraordinarily, there's less. Hire more judges. Put an ankle bracelet on. It will be extraordinarily less costly. You don't have to build a wall. And if you hire more judges and make the process go faster, then you get decisions faster, rather than keeping people in abeyance for years and years and years, or sitting in jail for 10 months.
Yeah, weren't you talking to a caller yesterday where some of the asylum hearings are years out?
Yes.
That's preposterous.
Yeah. So Mr. Trump, for weeks, he refused to end his government's zero-tolerance policy that led to the separation of more than 3,300 children from their parents, saying that the alternative would be to opening up the nation's borders and allowing immigrants who cross the border illegally to remain in the country. We're talking about 3,300 people.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I don't think that's flinging the doors open.
No.
Okay. So Mr. Trump said on Wednesday, we're going to be signing an executive order. We will be keeping families together.
What does that doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
Thanks. So that's what's happening there. Now, there's different types of jails that's going on at the border right now. There's the criminal jails where the adults are going, who are being charged with trying to enter the country illegally. They will go to federal jail for a month and then go back and sit in immigration jail while their asylum claims are being processed. So they would be in jail either way, whether it's immigration jail or federal jail. So this whole idea, it's like preposterous to say we're going to charge you criminally. It's just basically moving a person from one jail to another and clogging up the criminal court system.
Okay.
Because they're going to sit in immigration jail anyway, 9-10 months, waiting for their asylum claim to be resolved.
So you're just adding an extra step.
You're adding an extra layer of another jail and another procedure to try. What are they? And the whole purpose is to separate them from their families. So there's teen jails,
right?
Family jails, And now they're calling them tender age shelters.
Yes.
Tender age.
Tender age shelters. Yeah, it just makes it.
About that.
Yeah, tender age shelters. And so now children under 10 are in the tender age shelters. Who's watching these children? What goes on in these shelters? Press have not been allowed in. Congressmen have not been allowed in.
Oh my God.
What are the qualifications for watching these children? Nobody knows.
If there is.
If there is.
And these detention facilities are run by private corporations,
right? which are for profit and want to make as much money as they can.
Yeah.
So they cut corners. They're not looking out for the kids. They're looking out for the bottom line.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
At least 106 children today arrived in New York City, who were taken from the tender age shelters from Texas and the teen shelters from Texas. They are now in a Harlem detention facility in Upper Manhattan.
Really?
Their parents are all in federal detention in California. How are these kids going
across
to
the whole country?
How are these kids going to be back with their, and they say, you know what? I want to go home. Send me home.
Right.
I don't want to sit here anymore.
Right.
You can't send them home. They don't have any parents to be sent home to.
So they flew them all out here?
Yes. Now, I saw American Airlines started flying them today, and then when it turned out that American Airlines found out that they were flying them, and there was a big outrage against American Airlines that they were helping to facilitate Donald Trump detaining children.
Wow.
They have now reversed policy and said they will no longer fly any detainees for the U.S. government.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Jeff Sessions, meanwhile, one of the architects of this entire thing.
I thought you were going to say evil.
He is one of the evil architects of this entire thing. He belongs to the United Methodist Church, which is a Protestant sect and one of the more liberal sects, Christian sects. It's not a highly conservative, although he's highly conservative. He has been charged with child abuse by the United Methodist Church, and if he is found guilty of child abuse by the United Methodist Church, he gets thrown out of the church. He's no longer to attend the churches there. They don't want people. This is not something that the United Methodist Church wants.
Good for them.
Good.
The church letter said, I'm going to quote the church letter, it said, Mr. Sessions, as a long-term United Methodist in a tremendously powerful public position, is particularly accountable to us, his church. As his denomination, we have an ethical obligation to speak boldly when one of our members is engaged in causing significant harm in matters contrary to the discipline on the global stage. The letter was signed by 639 United Methodist clergy. 639 clergy, not clergy, said this was child abuse, separating thousands of young children from their parents. The letter also cited Sessions' use of Romans 13 in the Bible last week when he said the Bible says we're allowed to do this. And it said that that's not what the Bible says at all.
Good.
And in stark contrast, the Bible says that everyone should support freedom of conscience and resistance to unjust laws.
Yes.
Wow. Good for them.
Quoting
So good
the
for
Bible
them.
and not even really quoting it.
Yes.
That's what he was doing.
Okay,
That's
so
stupid.
meanwhile, ironically, I
Yeah.
don't know if ironically or stupidly or whatever, the head of the Department of Homeland Security, Secretary Nielsen, okay, a month ago, Trump was on her bad side. Okay, she was ready to resign because she didn't think, she wasn't supporting what Trump wanted.
Yeah.
Then she decided she wants her job, so she has now doing what Trump wants her to do. Separate children, no parole for anybody. So if you come in and you're found inadmissible, you want to apply for asylum, you sit in jail. Even at the airports, it's happening now. Okay, they're just not paroling people in anymore. So Tuesday evening, she had a hard day at work, obviously. People are coming down on her.
Right.
So she wanted to go get a drink,
Yeah.
tequila, a margarita, and have some nice dinner with her significant other, her spouse, whoever she was with. So she decided to go to MXDC Cucina Mexicana.
No, she did not.
She went to a
What?
Mexican restaurant in
Are you
Washington,
serious?
D.C., and after she sat down, all the patrons in the restaurant started shouting at her,
Good.
shame, shame, shame.
Oh, my
Good.
And she was not able to finish her dinner. And we have the video of it, where she
Oh,
was not able
what?
to finish the dinner, and she had to leave. Here it is.
Oh my God. Oh, there's
Shame,
so
shame,
many
shame.
people.
Wow.
And they're clapping and asking her to leave, which she did.
Wow.
And I would have
Now
been there,
that
right?
that
with them.
followed Stephen Miller, who is really a fascist.
Right.
Okay,
Yes.
he is the architect, Donald Trump's architect, immigration architect.
Right.
And he has been spewing anti-immigrant, anti-minority, and this is this guy here, racist stuff since his days in Duke.
Right.
Okay, when he was back in college. And he
would-
also went to a restaurant, a different Mexican
conehead.
restaurant, where all of the waiters and all of the back kitchen all are Mexican. Every
Right.
person serving him and every person who was cooking his meal was in fact a Mexican.
Wow.
And he went to this Mexican restaurant in Washington, D.C. And what was the name of the restaurant that Stephen Miller? Do I have it here in my notes here? Do I have it? Yes. He went to another D.C. Mexican restaurant, and then a patron started calling him a fascist.
That's
But he stayed.
Of course
He
did.
sat there and stayed.
he's
Okay, yes.
they are shameless human beings to go to a Mexican restaurant that
Yeah.
I'm assuming for the most part employs Hispanic people, the very people that they are currently.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're doing it on purpose.
Meanwhile, all of this happening on a day that the world is recognizing today as World Refugee Day.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so the UN has been honoring this day every year for decades as World Refugee Day. 69 million people are currently displaced because of violence and wars around the world and have nowhere to live.
Yeah.
69,
Okay, 69
million.
million people.
That's crazy.
My family was
yes.
were refugees as well.
So for the fourth year running, Turkey was the largest country of refugees, and they have 3.5 million people in Turkey, mostly Syrian. Okay, the United States received the most new individual applications for asylum last year. So last year, the United States received 332,000 applications for asylum. Second to that was Germany with 198,000. So far, out of those 332,000 applications for asylum, the United States has only accepted 14,331 refugees.
Whoa.
Leaving the ones who wanted to come, over 300,000 people, either in jail or not able to come to America.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That must feel terrible.
Horrible.
Wow.
So where are we at with sharing here? With all that wonderful news.
172 shares.
All right, so we're not going to get. There's no way I'm wearing a wig.
Come on, guys.
No way I'm going to be wearing a wig.
Listen,
Why
Brett.
don't you explain to them what we were going to be doing again?
Yeah, so if you guys hit 700 shares, you just hit that share bottom at the bottom. Brad will wear a wig, like a real professional real wig, for the entire Schmoozing with Brad. And if you guys get to 850, he will wear the wig. You guys get to pick the wig of Brad Squad's choice. It can be dreads, it can be a mohawk, it can be a Trump wig, it can be whatever Brad Squad chooses.
So how do you
if
share?
you guys get to 850.
And stop sharing on your page.
I'm gonna keep sharing.
No, don't share the Belgium
To
camp.
me,
That doesn't count.
yeah.
That doesn't count.
Tamika said, but we're friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
She's right.
All right, so before we get to your immigration, why don't you tell them how to share, first of all, quickly?
So again, all you have to do is look at the bottom right-hand side of the video. There is an arrow pointing to the right. Click on that. then you can share it to people's personal pages. You can post it on their wall. You can send it into their inbox. And then all you also have to do is copy the link, send it in a text message, send it to different people's inboxes. And then you could also invite people into the show by clicking the little man right on top of the like button where there's a plus sign right next to him, and then type in their name, and then you invite them. It's so easy. So many different ways you guys can do it. Just share, though, please, because I want to see him in a wig. I want to.
Stop sharing! Stop it, please! For the love of God, don't share! I do not want to wear a wig.
No, you
Stop
have
it! Get your
to.
finger
You
off those
have
buttons. Just watch. Get your finger off the buttons.
We're all gonna have hair on the show, guys.
I can imagine, like, I can only imagine what the Brad Squad would come up with me to wear.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
If I could share 700 times until my fingers
I'm
fall
gonna tell
off,
you
I
something.
would
I
do it.
already troll hair. They already have me.
Yeah, I was gonna say troll hair may end up winning.
All right. Meanwhile, before we get to our immigration questions, since this is Hump Day,
It is Hump
we got to
Day.
get to our Hump Day news here.
We have
Yes.
Hump Day
Yeah, we
news?
have Hump Day news because it is Wednesday. All right.
Hump Day, I love.
There is a Japanese new jeans coming out. Japanese jeans.
Japanese?
Yeah, and it has a penis pocket.
Excuse
Oh,
me.
Yeah,
Lord.
yeah.
So wait,
yeah.
what?
Yeah, in
Wait.
the pants they say the motto for the pants is "We ain't dicking around." That is the
outta here.
motto
That is
of
so
these
not the
pants. That is
motto.
the motto of the pants.
That's the outside of the
That
pants?
is the outside of the pants.
For what?
Yeah, I don't know. Japanese fast fashion retailer GU, the same company that owns Uniqlo, just debuted what the internet is calling the penis pocket.
The hell is that for?
So it's supposed to look like your penis goes into the pocket. So instead of wearing underwear, I guess, but it's really not. It's just a fake pocket. It's on the outside, and you can put your wallet in there.
Get out of here. That's annoying.
It looks like one of those.
By the
like
way,
a-
they're selling them for $15, but I can guarantee you by tomorrow it will be 50% off.
Wait, so the
I can't
jeans
imagine.
don't-
It just came out, but I don't know who would buy that. Would you wear the penis pants?
Hell no.
Hell no.
That doesn't even look right.
That doesn't look right.
What
That-
problem is this trying to solve?
Yeah.
What is
I don't know
the
what problem.
purpose
I'm
of
just telling
this?
you. This is the news on Hump Day. All right. What other Hump Day news do I got here? Okay, here. So there's these fetishes. You know,
Oh,
some
Lord.
people have all sorts of
We
fetishes.
all do.
Right?
I know some of Kim's.
Kim, what is your fetish?
I have no fetishes.
You have no fetishes.
I am
Do you have any
pure.
fetishes, Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias?
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
end you. Trying to put me on blast on this show.
So nobody asked me what my fetishes
What are
were
your?
yesterday.
All right, Brad. What are your fetishes?
We're not playing Truth or Dare. But in Kentucky, there are people who have pony fetishes. And they are having the Pony Fetish Festival this week. And the official description
gosh.
of the Pony Fetish Festival is, although primarily a 3-day, 2-night outdoor and camping pony play themed event,
Oh my God.
all forms of BDSM play are encouraged and welcome. The entire campground is clothing optional, and the pony enthusiasts meet twice a year. And according to one pony, the competition gets pretty crazy.
Wow.
All right, so obviously there's
my
one
God.
person dressed up as a pony,
Yeah.
and the other one is dressed up as a human being.
That's the wig for you right
and,
there.
Right, and they have whatever their sexual fetishes are at this campground. Half the campground is ponies. The other half of the campground is... Now, we were looking very intently because we saw about 30 or 40 pictures. And Belgium Kim said to me, I wonder if there's any Brad Squad people in these pictures. I said, there's no way in the world there would
Look
be
at
any
that.
Brad Squad people
You never
who are
know.
pony fetishists. And
Listen.
Belgium Kim goes, have you read these comments? You wouldn't believe, maybe they are.
We got some dirty,
We got
dirty
some
Brad
dirty,
Squatters.
dirty rascals in
Yeah,
there. You never
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So if there was any Brad
Oh,
Squad
wow.
people who went to the pony fetish festival,
some pics.
send us some pics.
Tell us how it
Tell
was.
us how it was.
Oh,
All right.
that
So
is-
with that, we got to get to our immigration questions.
Yes.
1-800. Look at that picture.
It's
All right, look at that picture.
I did see
I'm
a video.
not surprised that in the back they didn't superimpose my face on one of those ponies, right? That's what I thought was going to happen.
I did see this video like trolling around Facebook, and they said that like the costumes become real costly. Like this is a
because
serious thing.
because one person thinks they're a horse.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I saw the thing you were talking about. They're like, they take real horse equipment. Like it's real horse equipment that these people are riding around in.
I'm going to tell you something. If you had to give me a list.
Yeah.
Okay. And like say, okay, list from number 1 to number 5,000.
Yeah.
Your top 5,000 turn-ons.
Yeah.
You know, things that would get you sexually excited, little hot under the collar, as they say.
Yeah.
I don't think dressing up as a pony would be anywhere on that 5,000. Would it be on your top 5,000?
Definitely not.
I don't think. I mean,
Kim is like, I don't know, on my list around 3,000 is a pony.
Never say never. Listen, if I had to, I wouldn't be the pony, but I wouldn't mind dragging someone around.
and of course, Groundhog Sam wants to know what about Groundhog Fetish Festival. Right,
no one has a Groundhog Fetish.
That hasn't happened yet, Groundhog.
Oh, God.
All right, so let's go. This is our time when we are going to go to answering your immigration questions. We're going to take it seriously now. We're going to be answering your immigration questions. I will be answering them for you in something we call Getting Answers. Call with your immigration questions right now. 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. And before we get to our immigration questions, we have an update on sharing.
Last thing I saw, we were creeping up really slowly. We're at 178.
We're not even getting close.
Let's.
Come on, guys.
I want that wig. So I'm gonna pick a Marie Antoinette wig, or like a Cher from Cher and Sunny wig.
No,
Don't you guys
they want the roster rig.
rig.
All right, 1-800-529-5465. Let's go to Joseph in Brooklyn, New York. Joseph.
Hello.
Hi, Joseph. How are you?
I'm fine. Are you?
Good, good. What can I do to help you today? We're going to get serious now and help people with their immigration issues.
Okay. I want to know, I came to America, but I have overstayed.
You overstayed. Where are you from?
From Nigeria.
From Nigeria. And when did you come to the United States?
January.
So you just overstayed by a few weeks now, I assume.
You said what?
You said you overstayed on your visa, or you want to stay?
No, I overstayed my visa. So what can I do to legalize my stay here?
Well, you're out of status. You know, I wish you would have called me before you overstayed your visa. How long did they give you?
They gave me 6 months. They gave me 2 years. 2 years, but I was...
Wait. If they gave you 6 months and you came in January, we're only in June. You didn't hit 6 months yet.
No, I'm coming. They gave me 2 years.
Okay, all right, no. They gave you 2 years on a visa.
Yes.
Okay, your visa, which allows you to cross a border, they said you have a 2-year visa, and for the next 2 years you can cross the border. And then when you come into the airport, they tell you how long you're allowed to stay. That has nothing to do with the validity of your visa. How long did they tell you that you're able to stay? You came in January. Generally, they give you 6 months, so that would be February, March, April, May, June. Sometime in July would be your 6 months up. You have not overstayed yet if they gave you 6 months and you came in January.
No, they gave me 6 months. Then after some interrogation,
did you come January 2018 or January 2017?
January 2018.
Okay, then you have to be able to add properly. Okay, so let's do it with our fingers because that's how I add. Okay, January to February is 1 month. February to March is 2 months. March to April is 3 months. April to May is 4 months. May to June is 5 months. June to July is 6 months. We're in June. You didn't overstay yet.
Hold on. I said they gave me 6 months when I was entering. As I was going, they called me back again.
More information. Then what?
I don't know. They said they are not. They said they are not.
All right. So then, Joseph, let's do this. I'm going to put you on hold because we don't know if you've overstayed or not. So that's the first thing. Because if you didn't overstay, there's a lot more options. I think you're going to need a consultation. You're in Brooklyn. Come see us. Bring your passport with you. Let's go to Don in West Palm Beach, Florida. Don. Give me a D. Give me an O. Give me an N.
N.
What's it spell?
Don.
All right, well, Don's not.
We tried. I
All
know.
right, let's go to Mohammed. Mohammed.
Yes.
How are you?
How are you doing, sir?
Good. What's going on?
Good, sir. How are you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Okay, sir. I'm good. I would like to know, I applied for my wife, remove the conditional green card.
Yes.
It was 2017 August, and and my wife gave the fingerprint November 2017, and I checked the status. This April 9, they received the letter. May I know it takes how long to get the permanent green card, or do I need to go the interview? Actually, not me, my wife.
Well,
if
you did a joint application and your wife gets an interview, you got to show up with her. So the both of you will be going on an interview. You just filed. You got the receipt back in April. In that receipt, they extended your wife's green card for 1 year, travel and work authorized. It will be taking about 15 to 18 months. So I would not expect a decision in your wife's case till summer of 2019.
2019, and I have 2 kids. So
and you have the kids with your wife?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then maybe it'll go faster because you do have 2 children, and people who are in bona fide marriages generally have children. People who are in business marriages generally don't have 2 kids with the person that they paid to marry. So it may go faster. It may go faster, but generally it's taking 18 months right now.
Thank you, boss. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And if you do get an interview, all you got to do is prove it's a real marriage. And what better way to prove it's a real marriage is here's kid number 1, here's kid number 2.
No, after my marriage, I got 2 kids.
Okay, you'll be fine. Your wife will be fine. Okay?
Fine.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Okay,
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. All right, and with that, we had about 4 people on hold, and then all of a sudden, all the lines just went blank on me.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So I'm not sure what happened, if we had like an outage or Groundhog Sam pressed the wrong buttons.
I was going to say, did we feed Groundhog Sam
All right,
today?
so right now we don't have anybody on hold. We had a whole bunch of people, and then they all just hung up and while I was on with Muhammad. I don't know what happened.
That's odd.
Did Groundhog Sam do something wrong?
I feel like maybe we forgot to feed him today.
Well, he just said 215 shares, so he's doing something.
All right.
He's doing a job.
Something.
Yeah.
215 shares. We are 485 shares short.
That's okay.
We
can do it.
Of wigging up.
We could do it a whole
hour. We can't wig up without
whole
485 more shares. And by the way, we will be answering your immigration questions for about another 5 minutes here. So if you do call 1-800-529-5465, and all the people who are on hold, if we did disconnect you, my apologies. Please call us back right now. For those who are scared to call, figuring they wouldn't get on, well, guess what? You will. So call us right now, 1-800-529-5465, and I'll be answering all your immigration questions. 1-800-529-5465. Let's go to Mio in Brooklyn. Mio.
Hi, Brad.
How are you?
Brad.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
What's going on?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a 14-year-old son, and he's in Jamaica.
Right.
And my husband is filing for him,
right.
but he doesn't have enough. So my uncle is going to be affidavit of support.
Got it.
Which one of the forms are we supposed to do for the joint sponsor?
Okay. So your husband will do an I-864. And then your uncle will do a separate I-864, unless your uncle and you live in the same house. You don't live together, right?
No, we don't.
Okay.
No,
so,
we don't.
all right. So everyone always gets confused on the affidavits of support. It's the petitioner, who is your husband, must do it even if he doesn't make a penny. Even if he hasn't filed a tax return, he has to file it. Now, if he doesn't make enough money, okay, and there's somebody else who lives in the same house as you who makes enough money, they would do what's called the I-864A. And that would be the second affidavit of support. But if they're not living in the same household as you, they don't do the A. They just do another I-864.
Okay.
So your husband's going to do an I-864. Your uncle's going to do an I-864.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you so much, Brad.
You're very welcome. Good luck. Let's go to Sean in Kingston, Jamaica. Sean.
Hello.
How are you?
I have a question. My mom filed for me in 2015.
Right.
Everything was going good until The filing didn't really come through, but
you got an approval?
Yes, I did. Everything.
Okay, so then you're on a waiting list, unfortunately.
Everything went to NVC.
Right. And you're just waiting now.
No, in August, when my filing should come through and everything, I got an email saying that I have aged out,
right.
So they had to change my category to F2B.
Right.
Is there anything I could do, or?
When did your mom file for you?
In 2015.
In 2015? Well,
September.
When did you turn 21?
I turned 21 2 years ago.
Huh. Well, you know, maybe back then there was something that I could have done for you, but you're now 23. And did you when you got that letter saying you aged out, had your mom started the affidavits of support and everything and paid the fees at the NVC, or you never got that?
Yes, everything was done.
Did.
I was just waiting for my
interview.
Visa.
Okay,
yes.
so I would like, who has all this paperwork?
My mother does.
And where is she?
She's in the United States.
Okay. I would like to take a look at this paperwork, because once you do the biographic data forms and the affidavits of support, your age locks in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are under 21 at that moment, they should have allowed you to finish up the case under the Child Status Protection Act.
Okay.
As long as you had applied for it, that's applying for your green card within 1 year of being eligible to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to take a look at that paperwork to see if, a lot of times the embassy makes a mistake. Hopefully in your case they did and were able to do something. If not, you're going to end up waiting about 3-4 more years.
Okay.
All right, so what you do is hold on and let's have your mom send us this paperwork and we can take a look and calculate it, all right?
All right.
Hold on. Let's go to John in Palm Beach, Florida. John.
Hi, good afternoon, Brad.
How are you, John?
Yes, I'm doing great so far. Question.
Yes.
I want to ask you a question. The thing is, I got my papers, right?
Yes.
But I'm filing for my wife is filing also for my daughter because she's the one that sponsored me and stuff, right?
Right.
But I want to ask you, how long before my daughter get her papers?
Your wife's filing for your daughter. Your wife's a citizen.
Yes, she is.
And where's
my paper? My green card just come through.
You got your green card. Congratulations. Where is your daughter?
Thank you. She's in Jamaica.
Okay. And did your wife file an I-130 visa petition for her?
Yes, she did.
When was this?
In December last year.
December of 2017. And you have not gotten the approval letter yet, I assume.
No.
Okay.
No.
You probably
unless I get from immigration, but saying that it's saying that they receive everything for her.
Yeah, it's taken about 7-8 months now to get the I-130 approved, and then another 4 or 5 months in the National Visa Center. So what under Obama was a 9-10 month process is now being stretched out to 14-15 months, unfortunately.
14 to 15 months.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, but what the next thing I want to ask you, right? How can I go ahead and file on incentive, get full custody of my daughter? Our mommy is kind of really behaving a little way. So I want to know, when she comes, can I go ahead and... When
she comes to the United States of America, you can go into family court in wherever you are. You're in Florida. You can go into family court in Florida and ask for full custody, and a family court judge will give you full custody.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. Do appreciate it, and do have a great day.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thanks for watching, John. All right. Let's go to Rona in Rockville, Maryland. Rona.
Hello.
Hi, Rona.
Hi, Brad.
How you doing?
I'm good. I have a question.
Go ahead.
My niece did her citizenship papers since September last year.
Right.
And she haven't heard anything from them. She got a letter saying that they got it, but I thought they would have called her by now.
Yeah, I thought so too. It shouldn't take more than a year, and she's already coming up on 9 months. And my expectation is if she did it properly and she fingerprinted, and they're not confusing her with, Osama bin Laden's, relative or something, she should be getting an interview sometime this summer. Okay, it's generally taking about 9 months now. The only time it delays is if you have a criminal record or there's something in your background that they have to investigate, or sometimes with people, depending on what their names are, they have a name that matches an exact name of somebody else who's a bad person. And sometimes
I don't think that's.
I'm not saying
problem.
that's what happened. I'm just saying. I'm just giving you generalizations. I don't know what happened specifically with your niece. The only thing I would suggest is that if she has not, if 365 days goes and she still has not been interviewed by immigration, that she should be calling me. But I would assume that she would be interviewed well before 365 days.
They didn't send her for the fingerprint yet either.
Then she has a problem. She should call me. Something's wrong. Maybe they sent for her fingerprints and she missed that letter. Because if she's been waiting since, now that's the problem. So if she's been waiting, she filed in September and we're now in June and she hasn't fingerprinted, something's wrong. They didn't fingerprint her yet. That means she missed her fingerprint appointment somehow. Either she didn't get the notice, immigration screwed up, your niece screwed up, I don't know, but we got to fix it. That's why.
Okay.
All right, so hold on 1 second, all right? All right, so with that being said, we're going to get into our social media check-in in about a minute or two.
Yeah.
But beforehand, can we get an update on the Wigging It Up sharing contest?
I see that we are at 269
not gonna happen.
shares.
That's 100 since the last check-in, Brad.
Not going to happen.
It does need to go.
It's not going to happen.
Listen,
I'm very happy about that.
I have faith.
I am extraordinarily happy that this will not be happening.
I think he's just doing this so you guys feel like you can't do it, but
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
going to be here to tell you
we
guys
know
you can.
I am extraordinarily happy.
You're
that-
almost at 300 after that. Just come on.
That's
Just
smooth sailing.
like, just get
So
there.
why don't you
Come
explain?
on.
All right, so let me explain what'll happen at 700 shares. Okay, at 700 shares. Okay, you ever see one of these Hollywood movies where your favorite actor looks completely different? Okay, like who's your favorite actor who's looked completely different with makeup and hair done and everything?
Big Mama's House.
Ooh,
What?
yeah. I was about to say that, Martin Lawrence, and
Yeah.
also White Chicks.
White Chicks.
Oh man, that's a great one.
All right, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So you want to do the reverse white chick thing to me? All right.
No, that's blackface. No,
Yeah, that's
That would be bad.
that's blackface.
That would be bad. Actually, now that I think about that, that's bad. All right.
No,
Yeah,
we're
that's
gonna
not so
nip that
funny
in
the
the
other way around.
No,
right?
the other way around is not okay.
All right. So,
but like Tyler Perry's Medea.
Tyler Perry's
We
Medea.
could
Yes.
Medea
Right.
you.
Okay, we can Medea me. A white chick me? I just turned into a white chick, right? That would
Turned
be
into
so
a
funny.
white chick. That
Right,
would be funny.
yeah. Or I could become Mrs. Doubtfire. I could, but in other words, we're gonna get, okay, maybe they'll just put some Rasta hair on me. I'll be this white Rasta dude. Maybe I'll be like Mr. T. Maybe I could be, I don't know.
Jonathan and I are gonna have to have a whole conference about
Yeah, a whole
this.
conference
if we just
about
get to
this.
700.
I'm
So
not
we're
even
gonna
gonna
bring
give
in
y'all
one of
any
those
ideas
FX
now.
people, you know, those,
Yeah.
you know,
Special effects. Yeah.
people, and they're gonna make me into somebody else.
That's going to be amazing.
But I will only do it at 700 shares. I will only make a
And
fool
we'll
of myself.
document the
Right, the
transformation
transformation.
as well.
Now,
Of course.
at 850 shares,
Yeah.
Brad Squad gets to pick what I'm going to look like. We're going to bring the Brad Squad in, and they're going to be the designers.
All right, we're at 280 shares.
I'm not changing the plan, Dawn. Don't worry.
We're
I
at
am not-
280
I am not
shares.
changing the plan.
Yeah.
Okay? Is this legit? It is absolutely
Absolutely.
legit.
It's already gone up 11 shares, so
Yes,
just
it
keep
is
on doing it, guys.
absolutely legit. And
Keep
I will
on
be
doing it.
twerking tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
And I still have to dance.
Yes, you will. Yeah.
I haven't done a lot.
That's your. Yeah.
I owe them
you have,
a lot of stuff.
You owe a
there.
Yes,
dance.
I have a lot of IOUs, right?
A dance that you've been blaming on your gallbladder.
Right, but I can do that now.
Okay.
Right.
And then a twerk.
Well, should I do the twerk and the dance together, or that has to be different? No, it's going to be different.
I
That's
think they have to be
different.
different.
Yeah, all right, so tomorrow I'll twerk.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow you
wanted,
twerk.
you wanted to do the whole, maybe we'll dance later tonight. You can film me dancing later. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I'll
All
even
right,
stay for
but
We
the
need more
FX
coffee.
guy's coming too.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a lot. I have a lot of down
down.
payments to owe.
I was gonna say
Brad
these
Squad.
are getting to be very
Guys,
expensive share
please.
games.
Yes.
Get
All right.
anybody to share. Tell your friends right now to share.
Yep. Your
And,
mailman.
listen, now, please.
That creepy neighbor that you haven't had a chance to talk to yet, and you're like, what could be the reason?
I don't know
you
about
go over
that.
there,
If they
you knock on
creepy-
their door, you say, go watch Brad Show Live, and then share it.
All right. So with that
Guerrilla
said,
marketing.
we're gonna get. That's great marketing. All right. All right. We're gonna take 2 more telephone calls, and then we're gonna get into our social media
All right.
check-in. All right. Let's go to Michelle in Chester, New York. Michelle.
Hello?
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
I saw your ads on Facebook.
Yes.
And then I just want to inquire some questions.
Go ahead.
So yeah, I have a mother from Philippines. We did a tourist visa, but she got denied. What do you think? She got denied twice. What
is your status here in the United States, Michelle?
I'm a permanent resident.
You're a permanent resident, and you don't have any other family here that's out of status, right?
I do have a sister here. She also have a permanent resident.
Okay, so you have two sisters who are permanent residents. How long have you been a permanent resident?
And I've been approved for 2 years.
And what about your sister?
She's been here for a year.
Okay, and all right, has she applied for her citizenship?
Yeah, she also applied for citizenship, but she needs to stay here for 3 years for her to able to get the citizenship.
Because she was out of the country for long periods of time.
Not really.
So then why would she be?
Here, she never had. When she got here, she never go back to Philippines.
So then she should be eligible for citizenship now.
So she's eligible for citizenship?
Yeah, if she's had a green card for 5 years, absolutely.
Oh, she don't have a green card for 5 years.
Oh, for how long?
She have a green card for 2 years. And,
for 2 years. I thought you said you were 2 years
and
your sister was 5.
And then it will expire this year, and then she's
she has to remove the conditions. She got married. I understand.
Years.
All right. So your mother, how old is she?
She's 49.
When will she be 50? When will she be 50?
I'm sorry?
When will she be 50?
This year.
When? What's her birthday?
August 2.
Okay. Is she married?
Yes, she's married.
And she has, your father's not applying for the visa, just your mom.
He also wants to, but the priority is.
All right. So this is what I would say. Does your mom work? Does she own a home?
She don't have a work.
Okay, she doesn't work. How does she support herself?
We send money.
All right. See, that's the problem. Okay. If she was over 50. It's much easier to get a visitor's visa over 50 than under 50. If she was working and she was leaving behind, she was employed and she was leaving behind your father, I would say it's very likely that she would get a visa. The fact that she's not working, she's under 50 years old, they believe that she may not return back to the Philippines, which is why they're not giving her the visa. Okay.
That's why she got denied.
Right. So statistically, if you're over 50 and working, you're likely to return back to the Philippines or whatever country you're from. So that's why I'm saying, I was thinking in my head, let's refile when she's 50. But if you want more advice on how to help her get her visitor's visa, you can hold on, and we can certainly have a consultation and go through what she submitted and see what we could do to make her case stronger if she were to refile for her visitor's visa, and I would do it after she turns 50 years old. Okay, so hold on.
That would be great.
All right,
that would be great. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go to Samantha in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Samantha.
Yes, sir.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Hi. I'm well. On yourself?
I'm fabulous.
All right. Glad to know.
I'm glad you're well too.
Thank you.
All right. What's up?
So, my daughter called you earlier, and I need to make just to clarify something. It was 2015 when I submitted the paper, and she was approved.
Went from F2A to F2B.
Yes.
Got it.
And she got approved in 2016.
And when did she turn 21?
She turned 21 She turned 22 last December. That was 2017.
So she turned 21 in 2016.
Yes.
Okay. I would still need to look at. It's worth it for me to look at the papers. It's probably very close.
But does it matter if I do send the paper in before she was 19?
No. What matters is this is how it works. You get to add. Maybe you want to do your own math. Okay. You look at the I-130 visa petition. This is how you do this is how you do the math. You look at the I-130 visa petition. Let's say hypothetically it took 1 full year from the time you filed to the time the I-130 was approved. You get to add that 1 year onto her birthday. So then her birthday turns from 21 to 22 before she turns into the F2B category. If it took 6 months for the I-130, then she turns into the F2B category at 21 years and 6 months. If it took 2 weeks for the I-130 to get approved, then she turns into the F2B category at 21 years and 2 weeks. Now, her date gets frozen the day you pay those filing fees to the National Visa Center.
Right.
So if you paid the filing fees to the National Visa Center and submitted back the biographic data forms prior to her 21st birthday, plus however long it took the I-130 to get approved, provided there was a priority date available for her before she turned aged out, based on the Child Status Protection Act, which is the math I'm giving you, then she should have still stayed in the F2A category. Now, if you're not able to figure it all out, it's worth a consultation with me. But I just told you how to do it.
I do have an appointment with you tomorrow, so tomorrow we will get into all of that.
Fantastic.
So
we look forward to
call
seeing
you. Yes, sir.
All right. So let's go to Shayna in Queens. Sona in Queens. Sonaha in Queens. I'll get it right eventually. How are you?
Yeah, fine, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. What's going on?
Hi. Actually, I have expired with my conditional green card last year, October, but I am eligible for applying for my citizenship this year in 22nd July.
Right.
So how can I apply for my citizenship?
But did you remove the conditions?
I already applied for, and they give me a letter with a 1 year period of extension.
This is the law. As long as you file to remove the conditions and you're 3 years as a permanent resident, you can file your citizenship. You just do it.
Yeah.
And then at your citizenship interview, they're going to interview you on both applications at the same time. 1, prove it's a real marriage to remove the conditions. 2, now's your citizenship. They kind of frown against doing that. I'm not saying you can't do it because the law says you're allowed to do it. But unless you have an extraordinarily strong case to remove the conditions, which would be, joint tax returns, children with your spouse, I would say remove the conditions first and then do the citizenship. But if you have an extraordinarily strong...
I have 2 kids with me now.
Okay.
And
that's with your spouse.
Yeah.
And you live with your spouse and you file taxes
together.
So then at the 3-year mark of the removal of the day you got your conditional green card, so it would be 1 year. It would be at the expiration of that letter where it says your green card is extended 1 year. You can file your citizenship.
So I can file my citizenship, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
And another thing is, my mother is 57. I have applied for her visit visa, but she got denied.
Right. Well, once you're a citizen, you'll be able to apply for her green card.
Okay. Then, but for visit visa, should I try again? She's 57.
Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt.
She...
But before you try again, Albert Einstein had a very smart thing to say about doing the same thing over and over again and not changing anything. That's insanity. Okay? So if you're going to reapply again, at least come speak to me or somebody so we can give you, some advice on other things you can try to do or present to the embassy to get them to change their mind.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's go to Karen in Chicago. Karen.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm good, and you?
Fabulous. What's up?
I'm calling. So I'm going in for my interview next week Thursday morning, and I also applied for my 2 kids. They're going in with me, but I have an older daughter who is 16, and she just came in from Belize last night, and I wanted to apply for her starting next week. We went through the Catholic.
No. That would be misrepresentation. Wait 90 days and then file.
Wait 90 days, then file?
Yep. Yeah, because if you file within the 90 days, they're going to say she lied at the airport she came to visit rather than get a green card. The law says if you file after I'm just telling you what the law says. The law says if you file an adjustment within the first 90 days, the presumption is you liar. If you file an adjustment after 90 days, you're not a liar. That's the way Trump wrote the rule.
Okay.
So wait 90 days, then file.
Wait, okay, cool. So when I go in next week, don't bring up anything about her. being here.
Well, I don't want you.
I was just curious.
I don't want you to lie. You never lie, because if you lie, it's a problem. Yes, my daughter's visiting.
Okay.
All right, you tell the truth.
Okay.
My daughter's visiting. She's here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Ready.
And if you
Cool.
need more help, then come see us.
Well, I'm in Chicago. Can I do it? How can I?
Over the phone.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Hold on. All right, let's go to Manny in Rockwell, Maryland. Manny. Rockville. Manny.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi.
What's up?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So, I have this boyfriend, and we've been together since 1 year.
Uh-huh.
And I'm on my student visa right now.
Right.
Working on my. I just filed for my OPT extension.
Yes.
Okay, and I was thinking that you guys were thinking to getting married.
Great.
And I was wondering, like, since I just filed for my extension,
Well,
like,
if you're going to
how
get
soon
married,
can I
if you're
get
going to get
married?
married, then you're just going to file an adjustment application.
Okay. Do I have to wait for my new EAD card or something?
No. No. Go get married. If this is the man you love, you go get married. They treat same-sex marriages the same as traditional marriages. Prove you live together. Prove you have an economic relationship. You'll get your green card.
Okay.
All right, and we can help you. Hold
That's
on one
cool.
second. All right, we're going to take one more call, and then we got to get to social media, okay? So this will be our last call. Sid in New York, New York. Sid.
Hello.
How are you, Sid?
Yeah, I'm good.
What's
Yes.
going on?
Okay. So I applied for a green card last year.
Yes.
In July 2017.
Right.
So till now, I didn't get letter for the interview.
Right.
So I'm asking, like, why it take long time? I don't know.
Well, when did you apply?
I applied last June,
And did you
2017.
fingerprint?
Yes, I did everything.
All right, and I don't know the answer why. Where are you from?
I'm from West Africa.
Okay. I don't know why you didn't. You should have gotten it by now. The only thing I
Yeah.
can suggest you do is make a consultation. I don't know if you did the paperwork wrong, if you have something in your background that they're checking. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, but it should take 9 to 10 months generally if you do everything properly.
Okay.
All right, so hold on one second, okay? All right. All right. You know what? Donovan just called. We should take him. And this will be definitely our last call. Donovan. And
Yes,
more
sir.
people
How
are
you
calling.
doing?
We could get people all day long here. Donovan.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. How are
Good
you doing,
afternoon.
sir? Yeah, I got a question I try to ask regarding to a green card renewal. I'm a permanent resident since 1995.
Yes.
And I got another renewal coming up on my green card for next year, January.
Yep.
To be expired. But I got 2 criminal marijuana convictions.
Then you can't
Yeah,
renew your. Then you can't do it because that's deportable. 2 marijuana convictions. I will tell you that the trend is that eventually it won't be deportable, but at this moment that makes you deportable.
Okay.
All right. So don't
Yeah,
do
but-
anything. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200 if you're playing Monopoly. Just hold on. Have a consultation with me, okay? Didn't I just say this was our last call and they keep pushing calls through?
Come on, go ahead, do it.
Last call for sure. Too nice of a person. Gabriel in Brooklyn, New York.
Hi, Brad. How you doing?
How are you?
I am good. I have a question.
Yes.
I have a friend of mine who's married to a USA citizen.
Yes.
However, this man has been abusing her, and she really doesn't know what to do.
Well, first of all, she should move out of the house. She shouldn't be in an abusive relationship and accept that. Number 2,
Yeah.
there's help for abused spouses. There's something called a VAWA application. The VAWA application is if you can prove that it is a real marriage and there was abuse, whether physical or extreme emotional abuse, you don't have to live with this man. You don't have to have him file for you. You do everything on your own. There's no retribution back on you. He won't even know you're doing this, and you get a green card.
Okay.
All right.
How long does that process take?
It's the
Brad?
same, more or less the same amount of time as a regular marriage case, more or less. Maybe a little
Okay.
longer, but not that much longer. Hold on one second. We'll see if we can help, okay? All right. So with that said, we got to keep moving along here. Where are we at with shares? There's 400 more shares, and Brad will wear a wig. We're only at 300 shares. That's it?
301.
301? It's not a wig. It's a whole get-up. It's a whole thing. Okay? This is not just a wig. Even though I'm calling, I'm gonna wig it out. This is like a whole thing.
Like you want to be like turned into an.
Like I'm gonna be turned into somebody. I'm gonna be turned into somebody different. You won't even recognize me.
How are we gonna do that just for schmoozing? I
Just
don't
for
care.
schmoozing.
I love it.
I don't know how I'm gonna get this thing off after, but I'm gonna be like.
Right, exactly. Ooh, like in Mission Impossible.
Yes, like in Mission Impossible, and then I
you're
take it
thinking.
off.
Oh wow.
Right,
That would,
right. Something like that.
This has gone from like a 99-cent Party
This is
City
like
wig
Bradshaw
to
Impossible.
a $3,000 makeup.
That's right.
artist.
We're getting the makeup artists come in, but we need 700 chairs.
Come on, guys.
700, make it
I
happen.
need 700
family.
chairs. So please, Jonathan, Yo-Yo Ellis, before we get to social media, please urge everybody to share one last time.
Come on, guys. You know we can do it. We are at 301 shares. That means you just need 399 more shares to go to get Brad to wear a whole getup.
A whole getup.
A whole getup. And all you guys have to do in order to do this is look at the bottom right-hand side of the video and then click the arrow that's pointing to the right. All right? Click that arrow. Then you could share it to people's pages. You could also share it to people's inboxes. You could also invite people into the chat. You could copy the link and then text it to people, and please just tell them to share as well. All right, so it's not only getting them to watch the show, but also getting them to share as well.
And I love the lower third where it says Brad's gonna wig it up.
He's gonna wig it up.
He's gonna wig it up. I just saw on the news, you know, your notifications come on. ABC News was apologizing because they put in the lower thirds. They put in the lower thirds. You know, now we know how all this lower third stuff works, right? We didn't understand before. They put in the lower thirds. You know, Paul Manafort was found guilty of manslaughter or something. That doesn't happen by mistake.
No.
Somebody may have put that in their computer system as a joke when they were testing it around, and then they pressed accidentally pressed the wrong button when it went on live. I know how that happened.
That's a good way to get fired.
I know how that happened. But Beno Lessa said Brad is going Mrs. Doubtfire for sure.
Yeah.
Share it, damn people.
They said if they get
share. I love that. Beno Lessa, that's a great comment.
Tamika said clip-on earrings too, Brad.
Clip-on, piercing, real.
Oh, wow, you're so real.
Yes.
You go so real.
I'm going real. I got right into the character.
That's amazing.
All right, so with that, we're going to get into something that we like to call social media check-in, where we will be answering all your questions that you left for Jonathan and Belgian Kim. Social media check-in. What do we got? We got to go quickly because we're running late.
Cool. So for Trevor Barrett, Brad, if you enter the country on a 10-year visa and the people at the airport stamp your passport and is only the time you see that you enter, is this a problem?
What?
I just read it how
say this again now.
All right. So if you enter the country on a 10-year visa and the people at the airport stamp your passport, and is only the time you see that you enter.
This is what happens. At the airport now, they're only stamping that you arrived. They're not stamping when you're supposed to leave. That's the question. That's perfectly the way it's supposed to be. If they haven't sent anything to you and you're talking about it's a visitor's visa, that means you got 6 months.
Johnson said, if someone is married to an American citizen, how long is the best way to file for a green card?
How long, or what's the best?
Listen, he says how long is the best. So I'm going to go with about how long does it take and what's the best way to file.
The best way to file is if she's here in the United States, file an adjustment. It should take about 9 months.
All right. DG Cool says, what can an applicant do if the I-485 and I-765 is denied by the USCIS?
File again, but fix the problem. There's no appeal of an adjustment. So there's a motion to reopen or a motion to reconsider, which is similar to an appeal. The difference between a motion to reopen or reconsider goes back to the same person who denied you. They're not changing their mind. An appeal goes to a higher authority. There is no appeal. You're just making a motion back to the same person who denied you. You're better off refile again, put it on someone else's desk, and fix the problem.
Kuba wants to know, if I'm on asylum in the U.S. and I get married to a Swedish citizen, how do I process my paperwork to meet my husband in Sweden without going back to my country because it's not safe to go there? That is going to the Swedish embassy here in the U.S.
Okay, so if you applied for asylum here, the first thing that you need to do is get a refugee travel document. You file it on an I-131. It'll be like a light blue passport issued by the Department of Homeland Security. You would then go into Switzerland or Sweden?
Sweden.
You would then go into the Swedish embassy and apply for a visitor's visa to go meet your husband in Sweden, or your future husband in Sweden. What are you laughing about, Jan?
Because it was on our face while you were talking.
But you were giving me telepathy what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you know the
That's
answers.
how I know the answers.
Right.
You know, the microwaves from the television come from your
I
brain
knew
to
that
my brain.
answer, guys.
Yes. Right. Whenever I don't know the answer, I say, just put it on Jonathan, and the
And
microwave
that's
will
exactly
come.
what just happened.
Yes.
But you guys weren't supposed to know that.
Yes, we just told you the inside scoop.
Right.
Behind the curtain.
Behind the curtain, how this works here.
All right, Clyde Bernard asks, what are the documents you should send in with your affidavit support?
3 years tax returns, a job letter, and a bank letter.
Ed David wants to know, if you work with anyone from Ghana, have you ever worked with anyone from Ghana or Africa before? The U.S. Embassy here is
I work with someone from
tough.
Africa every day. They sit right there.
That's true.
That is true.
Not from
Yes.
Ghana, but
Right. No, we work with people from Africa all the time.
And he said he's worried because they have high rates of fraud, and so apparently the embassy is really tough there.
It is.
There you go.
I agree. The other thing I want to do, by the way, okay, besides reminding people to share, during the social media check-in, that's usually our highest viewership.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and it's going down, which means that people aren't sharing when they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's nothing to do with wigging out.
No.
Okay, but we're answering questions really quickly. Tell your friends to leave the questions right now. We're going to be answering them for about another 5 minutes. We got about 5 minutes left of social media.
Okay.
All right, let's go
We're
quickly.
gonna power through these.
All right. Sid asks, what's the process for permanent residence I-485 takes and how long?
What's the process for a permanent resident to file an I-45?
Yeah, it takes a long time now. So what's the process?
For an I-45? It's the same process it's been for the last 25 years. Just takes a little longer.
So how long?
For an adjustment married to a permanent resident?
Sure.
There is no such thing as adjustment for permanent resident.
That was a trick question.
It's adjustment for U.S. citizen. It's a different process if you're married to a permanent resident.
Got you.
Nadisha says, if you file an 1864W affidavit of support, do you still need a joint sponsor?
If you don't make enough income, yeah.
All right. Johnson asks, can someone file in for a green card immediately after marriage with an American citizen?
You can file for a green card immediately after. There's no waiting time. Just file the adjustment.
Carrie Ann says, I'm asking for a friend. Her husband got his citizenship through his mother. He only has an American passport to prove his citizenship. When filing the I-864, what does he need to submit as that proof of citizenship?
He has a passport?
Yeah.
His passport.
All right. Aurel asks, how long can it take to get a green card through wedding if you live in the USA already?
A green card through, there's no such thing as getting a green card through a wedding. I mean, if that would be the case, everybody would be invited to weddings. I think that you can get a green card if you marry an American citizen and get wedded in America. You would be filing an adjustment that takes about 9 months.
That's all we got
That's
for right
all we
now.
got so far. All right. So I hope Jeff Bosey's watching. We haven't had Anna Escona on for a while.
Hey.
Okay. She is angry, and I don't blame her. Okay. She has a rant. She's angry about what's going on the border right now.
All right.
She's our Miami field correspondent. And in her newest segment, That Just Don't Make No Sense. Is that her segment? That just doesn't make any sense. Excuse me.
Right.
I knew that didn't sound right to me, but
that don't make no sense.
That don't make no sense sounds a lot better than that doesn't make any sense. We're changing her segment to That Don't Make No Sense.
Yeah.
All right, so let's watch Anna.
Hey friends from the Brad Show Live, I'm Anna Escona. All right, so we've already spoken about immigration, deportation, and all that stuff. But have we thought about the children, the kids of these immigrants that are being deported? There has been 1,800 families separated at U.S.-Mexico border in the last 17 months through February. The administration has defended this by saying that it's protecting children by making it clear that illegal crossers will be punished no matter the family circumstances. Protected? How are you protecting these children? You're actually hurting them. And that just doesn't make any sense. Many of these children are too young to understand what's going on. Just imagine, you're being taken away from your parents what are you thinking? Like, you have no idea what's going on. You just know that your parents are being pulled away from you and you're being sent somewhere that you have no idea who you're going to see, who you're going to meet, who you're going to be around by, and who you're going to be taken care by. According to an article I found on NPR, doctors are now concerned about the harm that is being caused to these children due to family separations. They're saying it's irreparable harm to separate these children from their families at such a young age, which I totally agree 100%. It's clear that all this does is cause mental and emotional harm to these children. This is going to cause major heartbreak, tears, insecurities, trust issues, and a bunch of other things that come along with it, like fear. So can you imagine what kind of future these children are going to have? They're not going to know who to trust. Remembering that they were separated from their families, from their parents, they're just put into these shelters that sometimes don't even provide the proper care for these children. They don't provide the proper nurture that these children need. They're just thrown in a house with other children that are dealing with the same thing. And that's why a lot of them end up with many traumas due to separation. Anyways, leave your comments below and let me know what you think about the separation of families at the U.S. and Mexico borders. Peace. And remember, that just doesn't make any sense.
I agree. It doesn't make, that makes no sense whatsoever. Zero sense.
Yeah.
All right, so we got 2 more questions here in social media. We got to go through them quickly.
All right.
Yep.
So I have one from Wendy Brown. So this is the story.
Okay, you got a whole story there.
You know, you'll see.
I'll hear. Okay.
All right, yeah. So U.S. citizen mom filing for her married children over 21 years old in Jamaica. She filed in June 2008. How long more do they have to wait, Brad, please?
Citizen mom filed for married children?
Yes,
What
over
country?
21 in Jamaica.
In Jamaica?
Mm-hmm.
How long do they have to wait?
Yes, this was in June 2008.
They're up to May 1st, 2006. They got about 2.5 years to go.
All right.
And then we got one more follow-up from Carrie Ann about the proof of citizenship for the U.S. citizen. He has a passport. Does she send the actual physical passport or just a copy of it?
Copy of it. All right. So with that, this is really important, actually. And this has nothing to do with me wearing a wig.
Okay.
Okay? Because I actually don't want to wear the wig.
No.
And I'm glad that they're not sharing enough for me to wear a wig.
I'm not.
I know you're not. I'm happy. All right, but if you want to see me unhappy and wearing a wig, you should be sharing.
Yes.
But I will say this. This is important, and this you really should be sharing about, and everybody should be watching this. I had an opportunity, so I'm going to tell you who I'm going to talk about.
Okay.
Okay, and it's important that everybody watch this. This is real stuff that's going on right now at this moment. I had an opportunity to speak to a guy by the name of Alex Mensing today. Spoke to him around 4 o'clock this afternoon. He's a project coordinator for the group Pueblo Sin Fronteras. Mm-hmm. Now, this group organizes Central Americans to help them flee violence from Central America and process asylum applications at the border. And he is there on the front lines seeing exactly what's happening with the separation of children from parents.
Wow.
He is there, he's witnessing it, he's seeing the crying babies, he's seeing mothers and fathers ripped from the arms of their children, of their and not to know whether they'll see them again. He's seen it all there because he is physically there, right there on site, him and his group. All right. So I had an opportunity to speak with him today about what is literally going on with interviewing somebody who's seen it with their 2 eyes, whose group has seen it with their 2 eyes, and he was kind enough to. He's obviously very extraordinarily trying times and busy right now, but he was kind enough to share some insight on what's going on. So I would ask everybody who's concerned about immigration, who's concerned about your rights, because if they're doing this to people at the border, then it's a slippery slope. When rights are being violated, it's a very, very slippery slope. If you allow people to get away with one thing, power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And all I can tell you is if this is allowed, they will allow other things, and it'll be bigger and bigger groups until we don't have a democracy, until we don't have a constitution. Now, I'm not crying, Chicken Little, the sky's falling down. Okay, the sky's not falling down, and thank God we'll be okay. But I would urge everybody to share this with everybody. Let's watch. Alex Mensing is a project coordinator for the group Pueblo Sin Fronteras. We covered their annual Caravan from Central America to the border of Mexico last month. Alex assisted in the remote organization of the Caravan in 2018, traveled part of the route with the refugees coming from Central America, seeking asylum, some traveling up to 1,000 miles to escape violence in the region. He's been a volunteer with the organization for 4 years. So Alex is with me today to discuss what's happening with the parents and the children who have been separated at the border under the Trump administration's new zero tolerance policy. Thank you for joining me today, Alex. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thanks, Brad. Thanks for having me on the show.
Well, thank you I know you've been very, very busy and a lot's going on with you. So tell us quickly, what is Pueblo Sin Fronteras and what is the purpose of these caravans and how are you assisting this?
We're an all-volunteer group, collective, and we are in permanent solidarity with displaced people. So we accompany migrants who are fleeing violence and persecution in Central America. We have a couple of shelters in northern Mexico for migrants and work with supporting detained migrants in immigrant detention centers, which now includes supporting a number of people who have been separated from their children, but which it happened before as well with past caravans.
So how did you originally get involved in this group?
I started working with this group because I was writing and volunteering in shelters in Mexico for migrants, Central American migrants primarily, and was invited to participate in a small caravan. They're actually something that have happened for a long time, but typically didn't go all the way from one border to the next. After doing more legal assistant work and learning more about the asylum system in the United States and the immigration detention system, we decided to form caravans that were committed to accompanying migrants all the way from the southern Mexico border to the northern Mexico border.
So when you say you volunteer and help them, what exactly are you doing for them?
So I help basically coordinate outreach to attorneys and legal assistants in the United States so that they can provide information for caravan members. I went to Tapachula, for example, which is a city on the southern Mexico border where the caravan began being organized. And so we went to do popular education workshops, to do legal orientation workshops, gather information, talk to people about what the caravan was for. And then a number of volunteers from the organization accompany the migrants on the way. So getting on the train, walking, making banners, helping people connect to media and journalists so that they can get out the word and speak up against immigration.
Now you've participated in part of these caravans, or maybe even a whole caravan in the last several years. Tell us, can you describe to us in a little detail exactly what is involved in leaving Central America and making it all the way to the U.S. border and through the U.S. border in the past, prior to this, Trump situation that's going on right now?
Sure. So a lot of the people who end up in southern Mexico who are Central American have had to flee, oftentimes picking up everything in the middle of the night, leaving the next morning. This is after many times they've received death threats from organized criminal groups who are targeting them for one reason or another, and who have very wide networks and can find them pretty much anywhere in Honduras or El Salvador. And so they're fleeing gang violence, extreme domestic violence, drug trafficking, government persecution. And so they show up in southern Mexico, and there are asylum offices there, but the Mexican asylum system is a disaster, to be perfectly honest. They have almost no funding. The asylum officers have to pay for their own internet and paper, and their office is essentially not working. And so then they have to find some way to move north.
How do they go from, when they're going from Central America through Central American countries, I'm trying to think of the geography of, what's north of El Salvador, getting into Mexico. Is it a problem going from one Central American country to another, or it's kind of just open borders, you kind of just walk right through? How do you get from country to country?
Sure. So it can definitely be a problem. There was a Salvadoran family I was in touch with very recently who was deported from Guatemala because they were told that they didn't have the right paperwork showing that they had permission from another parent for one of the children who was the son of a woman who was in their group. So Guatemala does have immigration checkpoints. They do deport people back to El Salvador, back to Honduras, depending on what sort of documentation they have. And then there's also the problem of police taking advantage of them, which happens quite frequently. They'll get extorted, kidnapped, or just bribed.
Which is the purpose of being in the caravan, because a large group, you can protect each other, I assume.
Exactly. So the caravans start in southern Mexico, and then one of the main goals of the caravan is for people to be able to have the collective power to not fall victim to all of those things. Sexual assault, which is very common, unfortunately, on the route. And the transportation is whatever everyone together can resolve. So usually it starts off walking. Sometimes people offer to use their vehicles to help people move. Sometimes people will even offer an entire bus. And then the train is the traditional lifeline, really, for Central Americans fleeing violence who have no money to pay for any other form of transportation, and it's on top of a cargo train.
And so now eventually they make the border, and we're going to get to what's going on now, but I'm just trying to let everybody get an idea of what was happening in the past. So you were doing these caravans when Obama was president, even into the first year of Trump, before the zero policy. What was going on at the border prior to this change in policy? What would happen to a refugee when they showed up in the border with their family, without their family? What was the U.S. government doing up to about 2 or 3 weeks ago or a month ago?
To back up a little bit to the Obama administration, one of the important things to note is the changes in Mexican immigration policy. In 2014, under the Obama administration, the U.S. government provided a lot of funding to further militarize southern Mexico, which is essentially an attempt to move the U.S. border further south into Mexico and prevent Central Americans from being able to even make it to the U.S. border. And I think that's something that sometimes people forget about, which is that the number of Central Americans being deported from Mexico versus the United States flipped and became twice as many being deported from Mexico from 2014 to 2015. But when you get to the border,
And then what happened? Trump ended that program?
No, that continues. The U.S. government continues to provide money to militarize immigration policy in Mexico as an attempt to prevent people from being able to get all the way to the U.S. border.
So are there more people showing up at the border now than in the past, or is this kind of like a hashtag fake news by Trump that he's creating a crisis here? That crisis was always there year after year.
The crisis has always been there.
Right.
In fact, the total number of people arriving and being apprehended at the border is much less.
Right.
It's much less. And so when the Trump administration cites the difference between last year and this year, that's a very misleading type of number to talk about, because if you look at the difference between the apprehensions this year and 5 years ago, it's much, much lower.
So this is basically, it's been a crisis, but now it's Trump creating a bigger crisis or making it out to be bigger than what it has always been year after year after year.
Exactly, as a way to justify a far-right anti-immigrant policy.
Correct. And so now tell me, prior to this whole Trump thing, what would happen to a refugee when they showed up to the border? They made it past Mexico. They made it right up to the border with California or Texas or wherever they show up. What happened? What did the U.S. government do then? And then talk about what they're doing now.
So some of the differences are, well, first of all, the U.S. government has for a long time detained people in immigrant detention centers. The number of immigrant detention centers has been expanding for a long time, and now there's over 40,000 immigrants in detention. But one of the ways for somebody to get out of detention, for example, if they request asylum at a port of entry, is to get paroled out. And ICE can decide to release somebody. ICE has the power to just tell somebody, okay, you have to show up to court, but you don't have to be in this immigrant prison.
Their discretion. It's their discretion.
Mm-hmm. And there are many, many more examples of denial of parole now than there used to be. And in fact, ICE is actually getting sued right now for wholesale arbitrary denial of requests for parole by asylum seekers who have showed up at a port of entry seeking asylum.
And they're being held at the airport if they come into JFK or Miami or wherever they may come into as well.
So there's definitely an anti-immigrant and anti-refugee policy of just trying to detain everybody. And you've heard agencies, even like USCIS, which is more bureaucratic, promoting the use of immigration detention for people throughout their entire asylum cases. And with regards to family, I mean, unfortunately, under Obama is when family detention really started and opened up in 2014, 2 immigrant detention centers for families in Texas where children are detained with their parents, which is one of the things being promoted as an alternative right now to family separation. But I spent a year with an organization providing legal services in a family detention center, and that's not an appropriate alternative. There's no reason to be detaining children at all.
Tell us why it's not appropriate to go back to what Obama was doing before we even get into what Trump is doing, which I don't think there's many people who would say that would be appropriate. But people are saying, okay, let's house everybody together. Because that seems where the politics is going today, at least. We'll see what happens later today and tomorrow. Why is that not appropriate?
Because it's completely unnecessary. You can perform credible fear interviews. I'm not opposed to there being a screening process to determine whether or not somebody qualifies for asylum or not. But it's very, very clear that the population fleeing Central America right now are refugees. They're fleeing extreme violence, which is evidenced by the fact that many of them, almost every single one of them, it ends up proving that, yes, they had a reasonable fear that allows them to continue on to the next stage, which is going to hearings. So it's very clearly established that they're fleeing violence and that they should have a right to seek asylum through the court process. And there are plenty and plenty of examples of very, very extreme trauma happening to children inside even family detention centers. When you put families with children and parents inside a private prison that's run by a for-profit company, there's just too many incentives to cut corners, to not provide good health care. The complaints about health care are awful. And the first thing that happens to them is that they get put in what's called the hielera, the ice box, which is a customs and basically a Border Patrol holding cell where they sleep on the floor, concrete floors. It's freezing cold. They're given extremely horrible food. And that sort of treatment doesn't set them up to be happy about being detained. It doesn't matter if you have a playground inside the detention center. It doesn't make it an appropriate place for a child. I think it's very well established in international law that detention, incarceration, confinement is not appropriate for children.
So now, right now, we don't even have family centers. We're even more extreme. And right now, Trump is taking the parents, charging them criminally. Most are going to do a month in jail or 2 weeks in jail and then sit in immigration jail anyway. They're just sitting in jail anyway, either way. And then they're taking the kids, and how I understand it is these kids may not see their parents again for a long time. The kids want to go back home. There's nobody to take them back home. There's no way to get them back home. How are they going to get in touch with their parents? What's going on? You're there on the ground. This is what I'm reading in the news. I'm not there on the ground. Tell us what you're seeing on the ground there.
Well, so I can tell a little bit the story of one of the women who came on the Caravan, whose name is Maria. She crossed the border at a port of entry to seek asylum, turned herself into immigration authorities with her 2-year-old and 7-year-old sons. After a few days in this ice box where they were sleeping on the concrete floor, she was told to have her kids go into a room and be interrogated, essentially. She asked why she couldn't go, and they said, well, they're going somewhere where you can't go. She was told to grab their things and that she had 10 minutes to say goodbye to them. They didn't tell her where they were going. They just said, you can't go where they're going, and they can't go where you're going. They obviously were completely distraught, were crying, screaming, saying that they didn't want to be separated from her. And she just told them to take care of each other. The ICE officers walked away with them, and she had no idea where they were, and she ended up getting sent then to Otay Mesa Detention Center, which is a for-profit immigration detention center in San Diego, at which point she was able to get in touch with us. She still didn't know where her kids were. We were able to give her the hotline. There's a hotline number that she can call to try to ask where her kids are. And unfortunately, ICE doesn't facilitate communication between kids and their parents. She didn't know how long that she was going to be there. She'll probably be detained there for 6, 8, 10 months.
Is she being charged criminally, or this is just an asylum claim and they're not paroling her?
In this example, it's an asylum claim. She's not been granted parole, even though she already passed a credible fear interview. She's not being prosecuted with anything.
She didn't commit a crime. She didn't try to run across the border and commit a crime. She just showed up at our border and said, please help me, I need asylum. And
yes.
She didn't. So this is a person who has not committed a crime, who has not tried to evade detection and run across a border and got caught. That you may or may agree or disagree with doing that. But this is a person who showed up and played by the rules and said, America is a place for a safe sanctuary for me. Can I apply for asylum? And then they took her kids. Do you know where her children are?
Her children are in an Office of Refugee Resettlement shelter somewhere on the East Coast. I believe her attorney was finally able to figure out exactly which one. Luckily, a pro bono attorney volunteered to take that case, but that's not normal. That's not the case for most people. Most people don't have attorneys. And I think it's really important to note with regards to, there are some people from the Caravan who basically tried to present at a port of entry, but were told that there was no capacity, that they couldn't go in, which is something happening all across the U.S.-Mexico border right now. There's people sleeping outside ports of entry with U.S. immigration agents telling them there's no room, come back later, go back to Mexico. And some of them despair because they feel like they're in danger, and they end up crossing illegally without, and then they're prosecuted.
They're desperate. Out of desperation.
Yes, and they're prosecuted. And so with one hand, the Sessions is telling people, no, you should do it the right way. With the other hand, Border Patrol and Customs and Border Protection at the ports of entry is not letting them cross the right way. And then they're prosecuting them and taking their kids away. So
it's the same thing here with people who are here out of status in the United States. They all want to pay their taxes. They would love to have a Social Security number. I've never met anyone out of status who doesn't want a Social Security number, pay their taxes and work. But they don't have a Social Security number. They can't pay taxes. And they want to all become green cards and get legal. I don't ever met anybody here who says, I just want to live here illegally. They all want to follow the rules. There's no rules to follow. That's the problem.
Yeah. There are over 1,000 people in Tijuana right now trying to exercise their right to seek asylum, which is guaranteed under U.S. law.
And so now let's go back to this example. Where do you think that this mother's going to get reunited with her children? How does this mother get reunited with her children? They may be given, these children may be given off to foster care, or may be given off to a family in New York or New Jersey or Connecticut who says, I'll take these kids in. It's almost like stealing children from a biological mother.
It is stealing. That's exactly what happens. Yeah. And so hopefully the Office of Refugee Resettlement will agree to release the children to a family member. But what we would really like to see is for them to not have been separated in the first place. And the way, I think that's something that people are missing, is that the way to reunite children with their parents right now is to get their parents out of immigration detention. We need to shut down these for-profit immigration detention centers. People are perfectly capable of following through with their legal procedures, not in detention. And I think that the lack of a guarantee for representation is a big part of why it's challenging for people to follow through on the entire process. There are organizations that dedicate themselves to accompanying and receiving and providing support, not charity, support for refugees who show up. And if you do that, not only is it more likely to have people successfully follow through with their legal proceedings, but it's also cheaper than paying a for-profit company to maintain a prison.
You happen to be right. So now what happens, who's taking care of, you said they're with the Office of Refugee Settlement, these children. What are the qualifications of the people that are working inside of these detention centers? These are jails, basically, raising maybe even toddlers, 2-year-old kids, 4-year-old kids, 6-year-old kids. Who is actually watching them, raising them, caring for them while they're in this detention facility?
I think a good example is there was somebody who recently spoke out who was an employee for one of those companies and who was working with children who he realized had been separated from their parents. They were extremely traumatized. They were asking where their parents were. And one of his coworkers instructed him to tell them that they couldn't hug in class because they were clinging to each other for fear. And so I think that the fact that one of the rules was to not hug does not speak well of the way that these facilities are run.
What would be the purpose of not hugging? Why can't a child hug? What would be? Is there any rationale that they've ever said why a child can't hug his brother or sister?
I can only imagine that it has to do with very complicated rules that they might have about physical touch. I don't know, but it clearly doesn't have any humane aspect to it, and it's furthering the traumatization that these children have already experienced by being separated from their parents. There's just no good way of doing this. The best caretaker for a child is the parent that brought them here to save their lives. And there have been multiple. There was a report that came out today. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, that documents abuses that have happened inside facilities run by the Office of Refugee Resettlement, which is part of the Department of Health and Human Services, which is also part of the problem. It's so difficult for people to get in touch with their parents who are in ICE custody because they're different agencies. They don't talk to each other well. And
have you been inside any of these detention facilities?
I've been inside the adult detention facilities and the family detention facilities, not the children ones. They're difficult to get into.
Why such secrecy? Why is it so difficult to get in to see what's going on there?
I think that, well, on the one hand, there are valid privacy concerns about children who are being kept there. But what I don't think is appropriate is when you have Congress people being denied entry, when you have media being denied entry to investigate what's going on. That makes you sit back and ask, well, what is it about the conditions that they're in? And I think that the conditions at face value might not be as much of a problem as if you begin talking to the children about what they're going through. Every single parent who I know has been separated from the kid talks to their child, and the child spends the entire time on the phone crying and asking when they can leave that place.
Yeah, it's a psychological torture, which is just as bad or maybe even worse than physical torture. How does this end, or will this just continue on and on and on and on and on?
I think people have to quit having these distracting conversations about when is the right time to separate a child from their parent, what is the best way to hold them, what are the conditions that they should be detained in. All of that is distracting from the fact that we should not be separating children from their parents in the first place. And I think that we need to see...
And they shouldn't be in detention.
They shouldn't be in detention. They shouldn't be in detention. They should be released. There should be programs that support them and able to integrate. And if what we really want is for people to be able to integrate and follow through with a process that they don't understand, then we need to support them and provide the information for them to be able to do that. And I think we need to see Congress people not only writing proposals for bills, but I think at this point we need to see Congress people demanding access to these facilities, going in and looking what's going on, and putting their bodies on the line to speak out against this, because otherwise, it's not going to stop. I think we need people going out and protesting outside of ICE offices. People need to be going to the border. People need to be talking to their Congress people. This is a crisis that it's been going on for a long time, but I think that it's coming to light what's been happening, and it's getting worse. And to not be tricked by the idea that the Republican Party wants to do anything to end the separation of families, because what they're trying to really do is just expand family detention in private prisons that detain children.
Have you seen any congressmen or senators? You were talking about senators and congressmen stepping up. Have you seen any step up and really lead the charge here, or is everyone kind of muted?
There are senators and congresspeople who are speaking out. Jayapal and Harris and Berrigan have all been speaking out against this. I've heard of some other senators and reps interested in visiting or who have gone and visited. I believe that there was a group of congresspeople who went to Otay Mesa Detention Center a couple of days ago, and I haven't seen the coverage of who exactly went. But there are people speaking out, but I think that we need more people going to demand that DHS and ICE explain why they're doing this. I think ICE is hiding behind, and DHS and the Department of Justice are all hiding behind this argument that somehow this is to protect people from smuggling, or because they can't identify who the children are. That is not true. The people who we're in touch with have had
it's a BS argument.
Birth certificates, absolutely. Birth certificates, government issued ID.
And even if there are people who are using children who are not their biological children, that doesn't mean that every family needs to be separated. There may be people who are doing that, who knows, but a vast majority, I would assume, are real biological families.
Exactly, and the Department of Homeland Security has been proven to have a complete lack of transparency. Border Patrol and ICE agents have a proven history of lying frequently and using intimidation and fear to get what they want. And I don't think that those are the people we want to be deciding whether or not at the drop of a hat we should take somebody's kids away.
Well, it's a horrible situation that's going on. I don't know what the solution is going to end up being. We'll see how it goes. But you are right there on the front lines. I commend you for everything you're doing. Thank you. And keep up the great work, Alex Mensing. Thank you very much. If anybody wanted to get in touch with your organization to help out, how would they do that?
They can send an email to refugeecaravan@gmail.com, or they can check out the Pueblo Sin Fronteras Facebook page. If you type in Pueblo Sin Fronteras on Facebook, you'll find our page. You can send us a message. You can find out more about what's going on, or send us an email, like I said, to refugeecaravan@gmail.com.
All right. Thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it. All
Thanks,
right,
Brad.
Alex Mensing.
Crazy.
He's right there. He knows what's going on. And then it's not only people who are committing crimes, just people who literally just come up to the border. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm fleeing violence. Can I file for asylum?
Like literally coming for
and
help.
they're like, okay, take your kids away.
Wow. And they probably don't even know that that's going to happen because they think that they're going,
they had
you know,
no
and they're going to.
Nobody knows
they're not
when they're
going to
coming
break
up.
any laws.
They had no idea that was going to happen. They had no idea. All right, we have some final social media questions.
Yes, we do. All right, I got one from Yao, Nana, Edmund. All right, so I have a 10 years green card. It'll be 5 years next year. April 30th, I had a misdemeanor disorderly conduct, and the judge gave me a probation that will end next year, April 25th. When am I supposed to go file for my citizenship?
You cannot file for citizenship while you are on any sort of pending criminal case. So at the bare minimum, when the case is over, and then you have to have a discussion with me about whether you have good moral character to file.
Grace wants to know, I got my receipt and fingerprint notice today from the lawyer, and it was 3 days late from the appointment date. Could I still go tomorrow, and would I be able to get my fingerprints?
You should absolutely try to go tomorrow. A lot of times they'll say come back on a Wednesday, but definitely go tomorrow and try to take the fingerprint.
All right, Sean Hicks says, under the new immigration bills that are going to be voted on, if someone didn't leave after voluntary departure and it turned into a deportation order, can they still file a motion to reopen based on marriage?
I don't know what's going to pass. Let's see what passes first, and then we'll figure it out.
Cool.
Ogechi says, if you got your citizenship through asylum, could you travel to your home country if you no longer face persecution there?
Well, if you're a citizen, yes, you can travel back home, but they could always now, Trump is saying they have a new team that's going to look at fraud and look to take away people's citizenships as well who committed fraud to become a citizen. So, you know, be careful. I don't know what to tell you.
All right, that's it.
All right, so with that, we have a final share count. We said now, before you give the final share count, it was 700 shares.
Yeah.
And then 850, and what do we get?
We got 321. I'm so mad, Brad Squad. He would have been so funny in a way.
I'm so sad.
Y'all.
What was
sad
that? They were
and
laughing?
disappointed.
That's exactly how I feel.
I agree.
That's exactly how I feel.
How did you feel?
That's better.
All right, well, there's always tomorrow to try to reach 700 shares.
Yeah, the prize is still on the table.
The prize will be on the table for tomorrow as well.
All right,
so
guys.
maybe you guys can start thinking how to do it.
Well, you
and
should start pre-planning.
Can you go into the Brad and Belgium Kim? If Belgium Kim could go into the Brad Squad group page.
Yeah.
There is a Brad Squad group page, and get them all revved up to get 700 shares.
I will.
Okay?
Like a Flavor Flav hype man situation.
Yeah. Get
the day.
them all in the group. And if you
Lord.
want to be part of the Brad Squad, all you got to do is join the Brad Squad group, and that makes you an official member of the Brad Squad. Of course, follow us on Instagram at Brad Show Live. You can follow me at Bernstein_Brad on Instagram. Please like and follow Brad Show Live so you can get notified every time we come live, Monday to Friday, 5:30 to around 7:30. Also on Twitter, you can start leaving your questions on Twitter at Brad Show Live. We didn't get any questions on Twitter. We got to push Twitter more.
No, we have been getting some retweets on the Twitters though.
Retweets
So
on
people
Twitter.
are
All
finding out.
we got to check out what's going on Twitter.
Yeah.
We're going to start slowly going on there as well. Of course, Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias has some very exciting news coming up. Wait until you see what he has coming up in July.
Ooh.
Very, very cool stuff.
Yes.
Belgium Kim, she has her comedy going on. Maybe one day you'll be headlining at Carnegie Hall.
I guess you guys are
Or
going
the
to have to
Comedy
win
Cellar,
the wheel.
or the HBO Young Comedian Special.
Guys,
or maybe you'll have your own sitcom.
Yeah.
That would be
Right,
awesome.
that Whoopi Goldberg would produce.
That Whoopi Goldberg
Yes.
would produce. I don't know if I would be that amazing. That's a special caliber of amazing.
That would be amazing.
We do have some comedians in the comments, though. I'm not the only one.
What are the comedians?
Our comments of the day, Brad.
What are the comments of the day?
Our very, very first one
Yes.
is from Glamma. Everybody's very concerned for you. Glamma said, Lord, I beseech you to take control.
What?
Brad will be twerking?
Yeah, Brad will be twerking, yes.
She's asking power from on high to
Yes,
protect
yes.
you. And Carol Anderson, the Tiger, doubles down and said, if Brad twerks tomorrow, he's going to be in a lot of back pain for a really long time.
That is very true.
You never know.
Take care.
That is very, very
It might
true.
be a hidden talent that we all don't know about.
Twerking heating pad. Twerking heating pad.
You never know. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all back live tomorrow. Thanks. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?